99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hello and welcome to this your News at Noon today, brought to you with the kind compliments of Arasana Drink Mix. I am Kevin Smith. Before we get to the top story we are tracking today, let's get to the front page comment brought to you by today's Kaieteur News, and also the page 7, as we dedicate page 7 each day to our bluntness. Political wood ants are eating out our house. Political wood ants have infested the National House. As Guyanese know too well, wood ants, if not detected and exterminated, can cause untold damage. This is exactly what is happening with our oil wealth. Guyanese political wood ants, or leaders, and their helpers, cronies, are swarming all over the country's oil properties. They are eating into our wealth and to satisfy their insatiable greed. They diminish the worth of the oil properties by biting up chunks and carting them away under secretive corporate deals. It is time Guyanese take action to rid the country of its political wood ants, who have eaten away at our prospects, leaving the National House shaky and tottering. When politicians have something to hide, it is then they refuse to provide information. The more skullduggery is involved, the less transparent our leaders become. All over the world, there are laws which allow for persons to know the beneficial owners of companies. But in Guyana, trying to find out who are the beneficial owners of the fabulously oil-rich Kaieteur and Kanji blocks is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Guyanese have a right to know who got these blocks, and more importantly, who are the politicians who will benefit from these deals. We are providing these politicians with a chance to come clean. The people are entitled to know. And now for the top stories we are tracking. Nicholas Boyer says, have a public vote on Exxon deal. Government cannot run from the will of the people, and the private sector will be adequately consulted for local content legislation. Robert Prasad threatens Yan Mangal with $2 million libel suit. Venezuelan cook was strangled and raped, says an autopsy report. And as election fraud probe continues, GCOM Deputy CEO Roxanne Myers remains in custody. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Be aware of your friends. Be aware of the people you have in your home. Do not become complacent. Protect children now. You can make a report to the police or call the CPA hotline on 227-0979.
A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
And now for the news in detail that comes to you with the compliments of Arasana Drink Mix. The government should put the Starbuck Block Agreement to a referendum and let the people decide what should be done with the contract. This was suggested by Nicholas Daegu Boyer. The businessman, who currently serves as chair of the Private Sector Commission and president of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, said that it would benefit Guyana to do a comparative analysis of Guyana's Starbuck Block deal and other contracts across the region, such as Suriname. Sharing the Guyana-Suriname basin, the Dutch-speaking country has managed to secure a deal with the developers of its very lucrative Block 58 that would allow the state to take home 36% of the revenue from the sale of the crude. Guyana, on the other hand, is taking home 14.5% of the revenue from the sale of the Liza crude, currently being produced in the Stabroek Block. The rest is going to ExxonMobil, the operator, and its partners, Hess and CNOOC. Still on Nicholas Daegu Boyer, he assured that the private sector commission, that should be the private sector, will be consulted adequately for the upcoming legislation for local content. He said that he has been in contact with the government-appointed chair of the Local Content Advisory Panel, Shyam Nokta. Diego Boyer was responding to concerns that the private sector did not have enough representation on the panel. With 6 members on the panel, NOCTA is the only private business service leader. Senior Vice President of the GCCI, Timothy Tucker, had said in September that there needed to be representatives from more businesses services organizations on the panel. Diego Boyer said that he has confidence in the panel to deliver and that it doesn't matter whether he sits on the panel once its output considered the voices of the leaders in the sector. In other news, former Minister of Natural Resources and now Foreign Secretary Robert Prasad has threatened to sue former presidential advisor Dr. Jan Mangal over various statements he made about the sign away of the Kaieteur and Kanji oil blocks in the weeks leading up to the 2015 elections. In a 38-page document prepared by attorney-at-law Devendra Kissoon, Prasad revealed that he will sue for $2 million plus lawyer fees if Mangal does not immediately retract and apologize for 36 listed articles in various newspapers, public videos, and social media posts, which all together give the public the impression that Prasad intentionally signed away the Kaieteur and Kanji blocks in a fraudulent and corrupt manner. Dr. Mangal has been at the forefront of speaking out against the lack of transparency surrounding the awards. It was his words on the matter which alerted the State Assets Recovery Agency to start an investigation into the matter in 2018. And moving on, an autopsy report has revealed that 28-year-old Dima Emilia Lezama Fermin, a Venezuelan cook found murdered on Sunday last at Big Hope Bagdam, was beaten, strangled, and raped. Meanwhile, the suspects, identified as a dredge owner and a minor, remain in police custody as investigations continue. Lezama was discovered at around 6:30 on October 4th, floating in a mining pit located behind the suspect's camp. Investigators reported that Lezama's body was clad in a blue jersey with its underwear missing. Multiple black and blue marks were seen about her body as well. In other news, up to press time yesterday, Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Myers was still in police custody as an investigation continues into her actions during the March 2020 elections. Myers was arrested on Tuesday after she turned herself in at the CID. She was in the company of her attorneys, Nigel Hughes and Ronald Daniels. This happened less than 24 hours after it was made public that Myers was wanted by the police for questioning in relation to the investigation of fraud during the 2020 elections period. The police yesterday stated that Myers was arrested for conspiracy to commit fraud and that she had evaded the police for over a month. Police also refuted claims that were made by one of the lawyers representing Myers, Nigel Hughes, that she was arrested and detained because she exercised her right to remain silent. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM, and this is your News at Noon that comes to you with the compliments of Rasina Drink Mix. Coming up after the break, Golly Side goes on trial for murder of Sophia shopkeeper. GCAA submits claim to Liat administrator for millions owed, and Gaisuko CEO says Blairmont Sugar Estate to focus exclusively on export market.
Enjoy Free Night Talk with Digicel, the curfew edition. Get unlimited free talk to any Digicel number between 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. All you have to do is top up $1,000 or more every day before 6 p.m. to enjoy unlimited free talk. That's a whole lot of gaff. No more boring nights. You can now call your mommy, daddy, your bestie, your boo, even granny to tell them all that Digicel Unlimited Free Night Talk is back. Terms and conditions apply. Digicel, there with you.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Odell Roberts, called Gully Side of Seafield Sophia, is currently on trial for the 2015 murder of shopkeeper Sean Annis. His trial commenced yesterday morning before Justice Priya Sinaran Bihari and a mixed 12-member jury at the Georgetown High Court. Roberts has since pleaded not guilty to the charge, which alleges that he murdered Anis during the course of a robbery on May 1st, 2015. During his testimony, the policeman recalled that Roberts had denied any involvement in the shooting and even at times refused to answer any questions posed by the investigating officers. In other news, the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority has submitted a claim to LIAT for monies they owe. Director General of the authority, Egbert Field, said that his agency would have submitted the claims directly to LIAT's administrator, Cleveland Seaford. The Director General stated that the cash-strapped airline owes money for several things. Further, he noted that following Seaford's appointment, the authority was asked to submit their account of LIAT's debt, as the airline is seeking to pay off what they can. It is understood that the amount of money the airline owes the Aviation Authority is around $21 million. In other news, the ISO-certified packaging plant at the Blairmont Sugar Factory will be tapping into the export market exclusively. This will be done as the estate moves in the direction of exporting more value-added products to the international markets. This was disclosed by CEO of Gaisuko, Sis Narayan Singh. Presently, Gaisuko produces three main products: packaged sugar, bag sugar, which is sold in 50 kilograms bags, and bulk sugar. The CEO said that the chunk of the revenue is earned from selling the packaged sugar, while others are sold at a loss. For the next 18 months, Singh assured that efforts will be made to push the packaged sugar product so that Guyana and Guyanese can benefit. It was revealed that already the first production out of Enmore has been sold. In other news, the Ministry of Education has announced that the $1 billion Westminster Secondary School that is currently under construction at La Parfaite Harmony, Region 3, will be completed by November 30th, and the construction is already at 85%. The ministry expressed that upon the school's completion, it will certainly meet the international standards and will house 1,000 students. It will also feature classrooms that cater to children with disabilities and modern technical vocational education training departments. The school's construction falls under the Guyana Secondary Education Improvement Project that aimed to build two new secondary schools, the Westminster Secondary School and the Good Hope Secondary School on the east coast of Demerara. The multi-million-dollar project is funded by the World Bank. Let's tell you now that moves are apace to make GDF more integrally involved at the community level. Speaking on this vision yesterday was President Irfan Ali. President Ali pointed to the critical role that the GDF will play in the country's infrastructural transformation. Chief of Staff Brigadier Godfrey Bress said, and Brigadier Gary Beaton expressed the force's commitment to implementing identified projects which are central to the development of the country. President Ali had announced the government's desire to make the military more community-oriented, engaged and aligned with national development goals, particularly as Guyana emerges as an oil economy. It is now 12 hours 15. Stay tuned. Coming up next is your COVID-19 update. And now for your COVID-19 update. The number of worldwide coronavirus cases, according to Worldometer, has reached 36,511,903, with deaths at 1,062,273. Recovery cases has reached 27,481,969. Locally, 41-year-old Guyanese entrepreneur Michelle De Pina is among 3 persons who died as a result of COVID-19 complications yesterday. The owner of Michelle Boutique and Twinkles Elementary, located at Barima Avenue in Bel Air, Georgetown, is being remembered for her bubbly nature. She reportedly died at the ICU of the Georgetown Public Hospital. Her death is recorded along with that of a 64-year-old male from Region 4 and a 58-year-old male from Region 1. The 3 deaths have taken the number of fatalities from the pandemic to 98. The Ministry of Health also recorded 104 new COVID-19 cases yesterday. The figure increases the overall known cases in the country to 3,292. The ministry continues to appeal to the public to observe the protocols of the COVID-19 emergency measures, which are in effect until October 31st, 2020. This order emphasizes the need for correct and consistent use of a face mask when leaving home, the importance of maintaining the 6 feet physical distance from others, and the need for good hand hygiene to help reduce the spread of the virus. And coming from CNN, Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris clashed over the Trump administration's coronavirus response during the vice presidential debate. President Trump said his coronavirus infection was a blessing from God because it educated him about potential drugs to treat the disease. Meanwhile, Regeneron has applied to the FDA for emergency use authorization for its experimental monoclonal antibody therapy, which was given to Trump. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. Remember, it came to you with the kind compliments of Rastina Drink Mix. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up next is the National Outlook with G.H.K. Lal.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands.